We're pushing chefs to the limit, with ingredients in a combination they've probably never seen before. Professional chefs are put to the test by you. Will today's chef rock it? Or will he be rattled?
You know what? I can't do this.
This is Rattle Your Chef. This is Franschhoek, founded in 1688 by French Huguenots, makes it one of the oldest towns in South Africa. Nestled between glorious towering mountains right in the heart of the beautiful Cape Winelands. Many consider it the food and wine capital of South Africa. Today, Chef Chris Erasmus, executive chef and the owner of the Foliage restaurant, is being put to the test by you. Now the question is, can he rock it or will he be rattled? Let's find out. Chef Chris.
Good morning, Denver.
How good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Welcome to Foliage.
Thank you very much. What a beautiful place.
Thank you.
But why did you decide on foliage? What was that about?
Foliage means a collection of leaves, and that's pretty much what we do. We collect our leaves. It's all about nature, what it has to offer now. We do something called terroir pairing, terroir cooking, where we cook from the land in and around Franschhoek. So the wild herbs we use, it's picked either from somebody's sidewalk, from a river, from a forest, from a field.
Like those there?
Like those over there. We've got some dandelions, some wood sorrel, some ciradella, there's some honeybush, some water lilies, which is, some of them you don't find anywhere else in the world. Can you find them? And they're on our doorstep. So people come back maybe sometimes twice or 3 times a week because the menu keeps changing.
You've been a chef for a very long time.
A few years, as you can see the highlights.
Yes, I can see the grey.
I grew up in the Karoo for my younger years and then moved to Malmesbury in my high school years. That's where I met my beautiful wife Alicia. We're still together. She runs the gallery next door for Ilse Skimmers. And the two of us traveled. We went everywhere. We worked in the UK and Brazil.
Well, it obviously sounds like you are ready for a challenge.
I am. Bring it on.
Yeah? Okay, let me explain to you how it's going to work. So one of our viewers put together 5 ingredients with the sole purpose to rattle you here in your own kitchen.
Sounds like every night in the restaurant.
As if it's possible even. And what they've done is that they've asked you to cook a main meal with those 5 ingredients. Are you ready for this challenge?
Let's rock this.
All right. All right, stay tuned. After the break, we'll find out what these 5 ingredients are. One of our viewers, Sarah Jane, has sent in a video with a list of the 5 ingredients. Okay. She's asked you to cook a meal with those 5 compulsory ingredients. Are you ready to see them?
Bring it on. I'm ready.
Let's look at the video.
Hi, my name is Sarah Jane, and I would like Chef to make something with chicken, tomatoes, beetroot, knickknacks, and jelly babies. I'm looking forward to seeing what you can do with those, Chef. I hope you can rock them.
Can you rock them?
Very interesting. I'm gonna have to. We'll have to make it work. The jelly babies is a very interesting twist into it. The knickknacks I can work.
Now I'm going to give you a little get out of jail card. You're allowed to use any 2 ingredients in your kitchen to add to the dish.
Fantastic. That's gonna help me a little bit disguise the jelly babies.
Well, let's see what you do.
Right. Let's get cooking. Jelly babies. It's a very strange combination of ingredients. Jelly babies and knickknacks. I mean, that's movie food. That's to add it to a chicken dish. But let's see. Right, I'm going to start with the beetroots first. I'm separating the beetroots. I'm keeping the big ones one side and the smaller ones one side. So now doing with these, we put them in foil, drizzle them with olive oil, a little bit of molten salt, and then I close the foil up really tightly like an envelope so it steams inside and its own sort of vapor that comes off. Big ones, drizzle a little bit of olive oil over. What I'm doing with these, I'm going to put them in the oven at 240 degrees Celsius. Every 10 minutes, I will turn them. Well, I'm looking at the chicken, and it's 3 people, it's 1 chicken. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to take the wings and skins off. I'm using that to make stock. And then the legs I'm going to debone. I'm going to roast the breast on the bone. It's called crown roast. It makes the meat just so much more succulent and tender. It keeps all the juices in. Where's my wine? Actually, you know what? I can't do this. Not like this. Now we can cook. Cheers. So I'm going to be using the English tomatoes. Let's make a chutney with that. What I'm throwing into the mix is an onion. So the onion I'm going to use both ways. So one onion I'm putting into my chutney. So I'm chopping the onion nice and fine, putting it into my saucepan. I'm adding jelly babies to it. So let's use the black jelly babies. Well, they taste like, to me they taste a little bit like blackberry, blueberry. So that could work quite nice with the tomato, and hopefully it's going to stain it as well. We get a black chutney, which would be quite cool. So these are going into a small pot, putting another one on top, onto low heat. So that's the chutney going. Right, my next step with these vine tomatoes is a classic French dish called tomato provençal, where you bake the tomatoes with a parmesan crust. I'm using a local South African snack, maize snack or chip. It's not quite the same, but it will have the same effect if I treat it correctly. So I'm putting my knickknacks in the blender. I'm adding some dehydrated yogurt powder just to give it a bit more of a dairy effect, which would be closer to the cheese, and a little bit of dehydrated beetroot skin, which will give it that earthy, more truffly flavor. Yeah, it's close enough. I think it's close enough to the real deal. Now the vine tomatoes, what I'm doing with those, I'm just drizzling it with olive oil, a little bit of molten salt, and it goes in a very hot pan. I'm putting it under my salamander or under your grill in your oven if you're at home, just to give it a nice blister on both sides. I'm doing my chicken sauce. I'm heating up some olive oil, adding a little bit of butter. So I'm using all the offcuts from the chicken, which is the wings are chopped up, the carcass are chopped up, and some of the skin. Now I'm adding a little bit of honey bush. Now the honey bush tastes exactly like rooibos, just with a pinch of honey. Next, what I'm putting in is the green jelly babies. I want to counterbalance it with something really healthy and natural and see if it's going to work. We're going to leave this to simmer for about 25 minutes before I do anything else to it. Right, the beetroot's ready. Now, I'm wearing gloves because I really don't want to stain my hands, and this is going to be very hot. Right, the skin just slides off. I'm quartering it up, getting it back into a pan. Now I'm adding a dash of Pernod. We're cooking it out for about a minute. Placing it into my blender. Right, we have a really smooth beetroot puree. I'm placing them into little portion bags. So I'm using one of my favorite recipes. It's a whole roasted onion. You hack it in half, and I'm placing the onions cut side down into the pan. Now I place it in a lowish oven at about 160, 170 degrees Celsius. Now the crown of the chicken, I take room temperature butter that is spreadable, and I'm spreading it onto the skin of the raw chicken. We're getting that in the pan, and I'm going to leave it and just turn it every now and then to make sure that we have a nice even caramelization. Now that we have a nice caramelization, I'm taking it out of my pan and putting it on a roasting tray, breast facing upwards. Roast it on the bone at about 200 degrees Celsius. Now the chicken ballotine, I'm making a filling. I'm using beetroot leaves, dandelions, and I'm going to add some knickknacks for a nut texture to my pesto. Now I'm taking a piece of plastic wrap, placing my deboned chicken legs on top of it, spooning a little bit of pesto inside. Now I'm rolling it really tight in plastic, at least turning it 14, 15 times, making sure there's enough plastic around it so no water can come in. Okay, this is going into my sous vide blanche pot at 70 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. All right, everything's done. I just need to slice my onions, I need to carve my chicken. Everything's pretty much there, it's now just final touches. And I'm actually quite happy about this. My jelly babies didn't act weird. It came out really the way I wanted it to. And it's working. The lime's coming through in the sauce, the berries coming through in my chutney. It's not my ideal ingredients, knickknacks and jelly babies and chicken, but let's see if we can rock this.
One of our viewers challenged Franschhoek executive chef and owner of the Foliage restaurant to cook a meal with a combination of some crazy ingredients.
I would like Chef to make something with chicken, tomatoes, beetroot, knickknacks, and jelly babies.
What we want to know is, does he rock it or is he rattled?
So you are my really good friend.
Greetings, Sarah Jane, welcome. Welcome to the Foliage.
Thank you.
Sarah Jane, you've brought some friends along, did you?
I have. I brought Barbara. This is Barbara and this is Anel. And they are good friends for many, many years. And what unites us is good food and good wine.
Sarah Jane, before we taste, we would like to know, how did you come up with those ingredients?
Well, jelly babies are my secret weakness. I always have a bag of those in the cupboard and I sneak one or two when my children aren't around. Knickknacks, it's kind of a taste from my childhood, parties, sunny days, holidays. And the other 3 are more regular ingredients, but I wanted to put them all together for a fun challenge.
All right, ladies, do you want to see what our chef has slaved over?
We do.
Definitely.
Bring it on.
All right, let's call him. Chef, please do the honors.
Hi, ladies. All right, your chicken. Thank you for the extremely weird range of ingredients. Jelly babies, thank you for that. Okay, what I've done is I've deboned the chicken, roasted the breasts on the crown, used all the bones to make a stock. I infused it with wild honeybush and the green jelly babies, which gives it a lime flavor. The bigger tomatoes, I made a chutney with the black jelly baby, so it's got a berry flavor. And I made a warm salad. It's in a whole roasted onion. I used some of the beetroot to make a puree, and the rest of the beetroot I charcoal roasted. Oh, and the crumbs over the, which are very classical French dish, tomato provençal, we use parmesan crumbs. I used knickknacks. Enjoy it.
When I saw Sarah Jane's list of arbitrary ingredients, I really wondered what he was going to do and was totally impressed with the meal he produced.
That's good.
Who chooses knickknacks as an ingredient? I don't even know why Sarah Jane and I are friends, but you know what? Chef was not rattled at all. He totally rocked it.
I think the tomatoes and the knickknacks really work.
I was quite surprised with that one.
I really thought the jelly babies were going to rattle Chef, but he produced an absolute wonder.
Right, thank goodness. Sarah Jane is happy. The hostess and my challenger is happy. So I think that means I've rocked this one.
Well done, you've rocked the meal. From the Folios restaurant here in Franschhoek, it's goodbye. But join us next time as we try and rattle another chef.
I'm Chris Erasmus. Sarah Jane challenged me with some seriously weird ingredients. I rocked it.